Hello everyone and welcome to Main Street Universe. Today, I'm feeling particularly big I'm going to discuss an energy that I personally work with. At the end of this very brief video, I'm going to share a magical technique that I have used with great, incredible success. It'll start by naming that energy. When I was at the Westminster Rescue Mission, and though I have great love for those people, in that rehab for 10 months, they were very strict holy rollers. Though I will admit, their minister, who I won't name, I genuinely liked him. We used to debate every morning. I looked forward to it. I'm not sure if he did or not. I think he did. He was an intellectual, though. He was not someone who was uninformed. He studied different faiths in the world, and he made his choice. We will get to it. Pan, the god Pan, son of Hermes, and a nymph. Pan is known for wildness, freedom. I called to Pan when I was at the mission. It just seemed like the perfect balance, right? For a kind of strict holy roller environment for 10 months. I'd go into the woods with my bell. They had a store attached to the mission. I found a bell, would find a place in the woods by a stream, and do long meditations there. And the bell, of course, was part of it. Here's my point. Plenty of people are called to Pan, but here's an aspect of him that I think people don't get. And that would make sense because Pan was highly misunderstood. People, even the nymphs and the fae themselves, were frightened by his appearance. He fell in love with one of the nymphs, chased after her. When he went to reach for her, reeds were in his hands. Right. Those reeds then evolve and become the pan flute. So what he brought back, part of another thing he brings back from the other side, is music. Or at least that form, that expression of music. But here's the part that, though I'm sure some people do, you don't hear people often talk about with Pan. Pan, the healer. And people are like, oh, come on, he's about wildness and freedom and frolicking through the woods, and now he plays his flute, or his pan flute, and the nymphs and the fae, they're dancing around him. And he represents that passion, and yes, he does. But I'm talking about Pan as a healer. Yes, remember, he was the son of Hermes, the son of the great messenger, carrying the wand, the staff, the caduceus, which is still a modern symbol of healing. Aha! So someone tried to say to me, in a friendly conversation, by the way, there was no bitterness here. They're like, I don't think a pen is healing. Yes, I do. And I've used it. And folks, I don't always speak with this level of authority when talking about magic. It absolutely worked brilliantly in a very real world, medically documented to some degree way. Because I was at the mission, we had medical checkups, and they were like, wow, you are really healing well. I'd mentioned a little bit of that before. I will explain, and now we'll get right to the magical technique. It's ancient, though the notes may have changed because the Greek musical notation system was different. But the idea is there. The core through my own experience, yes, the core is still there. I will now tell you the notes to summon the god Pan. Let me say this with a warning for the purposes of power. Even though, yes, I sometimes identify as a chaos magician, I do still heed certain warnings. Do not call upon a force like Pan without then asking to use his energy for something. It's almost like starting a machine or waiting and not doing anything with it. Does that make sense? You're supposed to use that energy when you call it. This isn't like a dire warning. I'm just saying to be respectful to the energies you work with. Use it. If you call upon Pan, and for my purposes, for my case it was healing, ask for the healing. Work with him. Unite. Absolutely. In part 2 of this, I'll explain it in detail. In fact, I'll play the notes for you. I might hum them, play them, and I'll tell you exactly how I did it at the mission, because all I had was me, my mind, the woods, a stream, and a little bell I got from the store that was attached to the mission. So I'm in my storage place now, picking up a guitar that I'm going to be working on and upgrading. And when I get home, I'll do part 2. This is the magical technique that worked for me and helped me, along with doing other things, yes, in the physical world, get my legs back, get my legs healed, and other things too. I will be right back. I would go down the hill, ring the bell, get into a meditative state, and then I would begin to hum. Didn't always have a guitar with me. Later on I did. The notes of Pan. Sometimes doing in my head, calling the quarters, the circle, the whole thing. Sometimes not. Sometimes like the Druid tradition, they believe all spaces are sacred, so there's a sacred grove. And maybe with the wildness of Pan, that approach might actually had felt like that day it fits a little better than the circle cast. But I would do both. Here are the notes. Got my guitar, whose name is Raven, with me today. We're going to start with F, G, C, E flat, F, G, C, E flat. Now it's important to note that when I was humming it, I would do it in the ohm form, I think most of the time, and the reason for that being is the resonant tuning that happens with the vibration around the third eye with the So 3 times. And honestly, I might sit there and do this like 9 times, maybe more. I think sometimes I would pick 9. Like just really get into the vibe of the thing. I'll do 3 as a demonstration, since all of you listening might not be musicians, as far as calling out notes. So it would be Then Pan would arrive, and I would ask to be working with him for healing. And I would feel it sometimes in the form of like a warm, fuzzy energy. Sometimes a few minutes later after walking back up the hill, around the areas that were in pain. And that's what I would do. Those are the notes of Pan. The notes to summon the god Pan. They can be actually transposed into a different key, but the progression has to be the same. In fact, when I first learned it, it was F sharp. This is Daniel Michael. You listen to Main Street Universe. Thank you, and have a great 4th.